Government was also operating on only 30% of the capacity of its workers. So this time around, the effect of COVID-19 has really affected workers. We sympathize, we pray for you, and we also pray for a more conducive environment for everybody at a working place to thrive and enjoy their work. When we return, we'll be looking at some of those stories that are trending in the print media. Good morning.
Experience 100% 4G speeds across Uganda with the airtel 4G pocket Wi-Fi available at 123,000 shillings only. It comes with 15 GB free for 1 month. Visit the nearest Airtel shop, device selling shop, or Airtel online shop. www.airtel.co.ug/broadband-discover Airtel, the smartphone network.
What does it mean to be closer together? It's taking the last bus home for a surprise visit. Closer together is strangers finding a connection. It's bringing home something much more than a box. It's the warmth of home, or the beginning of something new. There's magic in sharing the things that we love, because it's those things that bring us close together.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Many nations only develop because the people in those countries pay taxes, and these taxes are put to proper use. While Parliament yesterday, according to the front page of the New Vision, approved more taxes for Ugandans. Many questions around this, but the New Vision brings you that. Also, Museveni to host outgoing cabinet to luncheon. Okay. That is His Excellency, according to the New Vision. Still looking at some of the stories there. Kampala's hair quality getting worse. A report. That is one of the stories that actually we did here on UBC TV. And respect press. EU tells government. Just remind you, yesterday was World Press Freedom Day. Still in the New Vision, Bigirimana vows to sack indecent judiciary officers. Still, that is more for you in the New Vision. And government plans to regulate social media. How? This is something that the New Vision brings you more. Yes, Felix.
Well, of course, in the Daily Monitor, and a woman seeks to evict Bobby and 2,000 neighbors. The woman who also asked the High Court to evict occupants of at least 340 acres of land in Magere, Wakiso district. Of course, now Press Freedom Day, we're looking at Uganda launches Editors Guild. Something quite interesting there, and Cabinet agrees to amend KCCA law, pay pensioners. Now, Uganda Airlines Board Chairman given ultimatum. Well, of course, now the lizard comes in to also ask, does she want Bobby to go back to Kamocha? Woman seeks to evict Bobby Wine. Okay. And of course, tenders in the papers as well, but also people receive donations and mentorship. Now, instead here, of course, the Daily Monitor, we're looking at legislators vote 420 billion for trips. Okay. And police officers given transfer, a couple of them there. But of course, from the archives, we're looking at the Katichiro of Uganda, that is Paul Kavuma, giving a speech before Kabaka Mutesa II, and the British governor, that is Andrew Cohen. Now, of course, today in history, Buganda and Kochi sign agreement, and Uganda's first woman-owned bank. Wow. Okay.
Well, in the new vision, we look at the army. There is a picture of the army. That is Army Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba Center, the commander of the Special Forces Command, with senior officers after commissioning an administration block and structure at Nsamizi SFC Barracks in Entebbe. That was on Friday. Know your member of parliament. They've brought you Christine Nakwanga, that is a woman MP, Kaboke district. Then also Eric Mosana, that is MP Buyaga East constituency. Agnes Amende, that is woman member of parliament, Butebo district. Today in history, it was on this date when on the 4th of May 2010, the first gold refinery opens in Uganda. And still on the same date, the year 2003, Lendu militia attacked Congolese town. While Felix, in the world of sports.
Well, of course, Kiprotich picked over Olympics for Olympics. That is over Mutai there. And Uganda Cup Vipers prod Kisara's Army and Doves UCU Storm final. And of course, it is 80 days to go to the Olympics. And reality check for KIU Titans after JKL loss. Now, Kaburu pushes swimmers to find balance in life of Paul. And of course, how Lukaku resurgence fired Inter into Serie A title.
In the new vision sports, I am the finest. Who is that? Daniel Mwesigwa flexes his muscles during the Mr. Kampala bodybuilding championship. That's something that Felix enjoys practicing. I don't know if this one pack. Then also in motocross, Starbucks International Marketing Executive Ismail Tasmila crowns, that is Chere Musende, and Musende held for his track. More of this, Ruben Pima Kaseda Chibirango will be here to give you more in the world of sports. We'll take a short break and we'll return with more.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way, because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
Uganda has been commended internationally for her open-door policy to refugees. Today, the country hosts over 1.4 million refugees. This calls for deliberate programs to support the livelihood of the refugees and their host communities. The government of Uganda, working in collaboration with development partners, has through the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, developed the Jobs and Livelihood Integrated Response Plan for refugees and host communities to promote the social, economic and financial inclusion of refugees and host communities. The plan will be launched on Thursday, April 22nd, 2021 at Sheraton Hotel, Kampala, starting at 8:30 a.m. The Prime Minister, Right Honourable Dr. Hakana Rugunda, will preside over the event. Catch a live relay of the event on UBC TV between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m, plus the social media pages of the Ministry and UBC. Attendance is strictly by invitation. This message is brought to you by Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development with support from UNDP.
What does it mean to be closer together? It's taking the last bus home for a surprise visit. Closer together is strangers finding a connection. It's bringing home something much more than a box. It's the warmth of home, or the beginning of something new. There's magic in sharing the things that we because it's those things that bring us close together.
Experience 100% 4G speeds across Uganda with the Airtel 4G Pocket Wi-Fi available at 123,000 shillings only. It comes with 15 GB free for 1 month. Visit the nearest Airtel shop, device selling shop or Airtel online shop. www.airtel.co.ug/broadband-discover. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
We're definitely continuing with your Tuesday, 4th day of May 2021. And we're looking at the traffic updates and they are in real time. Now, Kampala Road does have 3 routes that are interesting. First of all, they come with either traffic lights or a roundabout. They equally also do come with a lot of jam because they are heavy cross sections. Why? Because they interact with the outskirts of Kampala. And the outskirts of Kampala do bring in traffic from Bombo Road, and we want to see the first interception point from Bombo Road is where you do have Fido Dido or you do have Watoto Church. And this morning we want to see the state of traffic in this particular area. On the lower side of Kampala, which would be downtown Kampala, accessing Chagwe Road, you do have red zones that are coming in from Jineri Road, they're coming in from Old Kampala Road, and also Namirembe Road that are trying to connect either to Kampala Road or Wandeke, accessing Chagwe Road. Now, the red zone stretches all the way from Jineri Road coming up or climbing up. Equally, in between Chiseka there's also a red zone of vehicles that are trying to connect on Chagwe Road. But also there's a red zone of vehicles that are going down. Now, these are mostly commuter taxis trying to access the new taxi park, and also trading vehicles that are trying to get into the Nachivubo Trading Center. They're trying to get into so many trading places here and offload goods for that matter. Now, that is one of those intercepting routes that you actually have to be considered when you're mapping out your route to your destination this Tuesday morning. Now, looking at Kampala Road and above Kampala Road, Nakasero Road, Buganda Road, all routes are looking clear except for Nakasero Road that does come and intersect with the Sheraton roundabout. And I believe this is also because so many people are using Nakasero Road as an alternative to the traffic jam that they were speculating on Kampala Road. But deuces to them, because there's actually no traffic jam on the main route of Kampala Road. It is green, meaning that the traffic is clear, both for vehicles coming into the heart of the city and vehicles that are trying to leave the heart of the city. Up until the other interception point, the only red zone here you do have is around Post Office. Post Office most recently has become a mini park where you do have commuter taxis picking up passengers. Equally, on the opposite side around Cairo Bank, you do have commuter taxis that will stop to offload passengers before they get into downtown Nakasero. The other interception route that you have to be wary of when you're making your route decision this morning is Entebbe Road around Cham Towers. Now, Entebbe Road does start at these traffic lights that intercept with Kampala Ginger Road. And when you look at that conjunction this morning, surprisingly, again, on Kampala Road side, it's clear. On Ginger Road side, it's a clear route. Surprisingly, I'm wondering where are the people this morning. But away from that, following Cham Towers, trying to get yourself into ShopRite and maybe get onto Entebbe Road on Sunday for that matter, you get to realize that there is an orange line that is then building into a red zone there. That would be Queen's Way, and that simply means that jam is building up and it's going to become a standstill sort of jam in the next few minutes. And of course, the red zones that come in every single morning around ShopRite, around Queensway, around Usafi, these are bringing in traffic from the other parts of Kampala, which would be Machindia Division and Rubaga Division majorly all somehow interact with this particular locality to be able to get people into the heart of the city. Now, the other place that also we want to see is, of course, there's a flyover construction taking place here, and we want to see how that is affecting the flow of traffic. Now, from there, you can actually also access Nsambia. Now, this route here has been divided into 3 routes. Yes, so you do have traffic that is being marred by the barricades that have been put in between this route here, and it does affect the flow of jam that is to Nsambia and from Nsambia. But having a general picture of Nsambia concepting with Mukwano Road this morning, it actually also looks clear. I'm wondering, today is Tuesday 4th. What happens on this particular day that people are not on the road at this time? Yet to find out. Let's have a sneak peek into Nsambia and what the traffic looks like there. For Nsambia around Sharing Center, you do have jump building up now. This particular route is actually used as a back route for people that are trying to avoid traffic all the way from Machindia zone. And then they come into and use that route coming out from Nsambia Sharing, and it does connect them into Nsambia, and probably they are wanting to get access into the heart of the city are using Mukwano route, and that's why they'd go for that back route. Red zones from St. Joseph's Nsambia around St. Francis Hospital, another red zone equally on the main route of Nsambia, and that is simply because of this intersection here where you do have traffic building up because everyone is trying to go in the same direction, and so it has to be a matter of patience. But away from that, both on the back route of Nsambia Estate Road, which has potholes, as we yesterday looked at it, it's going to be one of the routes that they are considering, KCC is considering to actually be able to deal with the potholes. But also on Nsambia route, main route, you get to see that past the embassy for USA, you do have a red zone building up. There is a university on the upper side, classes have begun, and so maybe it does interpret into what the traffic is looking like onto Gaba Road. Now, Gaba Road is definitely going to lead you into Kansas City. They call it Kansas City for people who stay there. In Kansas City, which is known as Kansanga, Kabalagala, you do have Senyonga Road bringing in traffic, in Nsambia Estate Road bring in traffic or taking away traffic for that matter. But at that particular trading center of Kabalagala, you equally have red zones for traffic coming in from Nsambia and trying to get onto Gaba Road. Equally traffic coming in from Nsambia and trying to get into the likes of Muyenga this morning. Now, speaking of which, you do have a lot of jam that is building up on that Muyenga route around the Ethiopian village trying to connect to Mbogo Road. There's a lot of jam that is building up there, and then thereafter it is a clear route. Mbogo route is an option for people to use to be able to stay away from Zambia and easily connect to Mukwano Street. And if we have a sneak peek into that road, clearly it's a clean route for you to use, except for, of course, the fact that there's some schools nearby that may affect the traffic, but it's only at those points of the schools. Then you see the jam only builds up in this corner. Mbogo Road is another route that KCCA is also equally going to do repair works on because of serious ditches that are on this route of Mbogo Road. There's going to be works on Namuongo Road that are going to be done by KCCA. Past Total headquarters, then the traffic starts to build up. And trust me, this traffic is because of potholes. Even trucks find it difficult to maneuver easily past these potholes. And so that is why you do see the jam in between the road instead of actually entering the road. Now, for vehicles that are trying to get themselves into the heart of the city using the Mukwano roundabout, you do have the jam building up there, but of course there are officers that are controlling the traffic there. Then we get to see Access Road, Mukwano roundabout seems to be clear. 7th Street, 6th Street are clear this morning, and then you do have Access Road that brings you to Ginger Road, which is Kitugum House, and the traffic obviously is also being controlled by traffic officers. However, traffic officers, kindly please give balance of time for every route that is using these access places, because you will give 5 minutes to these ones and then you give 10 minutes to these ones, which causes a lot of traffic. Anyway, away from that, you get onto Oasis Mall, has a red zone because people are trying to get onto the mall here. There's so many offices at the mall, and then you get to see another red zone building up on to Yusuf Lure, but I am trying to come back home to Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, and which will bring me right here where I am, which shows you that Nile Avenue is a clear route. Those are your traffic considerations this morning. If you are yet to interact with any of these routes, we are definitely giving you an update that should guide you to be safe and make a wise decision on route selection for this morning. But of course, the new normal is here on Good Morning Uganda. We do adopt weather and nature into our program this morning yet again with Molen, and she's going to be talking to us about more things regarding weather and nature. Molen, yesterday you talked about rains and showers, and then there was a very live example suddenly.
Yes, yes.
We had water coming down from the skies. Now you gave us a clouds of sorts to show us that when it showers, the clouds are flat. You say the clouds are flat, right?
No, they are puffy.
They are puffy.
I say they are puffy. When it showers, the clouds are kind of puffy. I remember that word. Felix had an issue with that word yesterday, but they are puffy and kind of bulky. And I'm actually happy that that happened. We had showers later, immediately actually after the show here, because it's exactly what I was talking about, and we mentioned that in our update. And there it was, showers in town.
So today, what do we have on the menu for weather and nature?
Yeah, so I found it also important to discuss the fact that there is scattered showers, there is isolated showers, and then widespread showers. So I feel like that is something we should know for sure, because if the forecast is going to say we're expecting isolated rain, so which kind of rain is that? Okay. If it is scattered showers, which kind of showers are those? So that's something that I want us to also look at today.
Reminds me of high school, a certain school that I went to that was so close up the hill. And whenever we had weather changes, especially rainy season, for some odd reason, we were on the lee side of the mountain at the hill. And so the wind will just blow right into your dormitory. Now showering became another issue. If there was an option of scattering from the showers of school.
That's the time you would skip shower. Like you just know this weather is obviously, this is a day I'm going to skip showering. But I don't think that was an option in school.
Yeah.
I don't think that was an option in school, really. I remember I used to shower all the time, so, and you can't question that, for sure.
Again, I think people are still equally confused. One Steven's confused. For him, he thinks it's called bathing. But again, it depends on which English you were taught in your primary school. Was it British English? It was American English. What are the state Englishes?
So it basically begins on which school you went to.
Trust me, it all starts from education.
Okay, good. And also from what you were discussing on traffic, you see most places are actually clear. I think it has something to do with right now, what we are experiencing right now, seeing from the satellites. Kampala is all just cloudy. There are no rains anywhere that are disturbing anyone across the road. So that can also be a reason why most roads are actually clear. There is no much congestion or no much traffic. So that is what we are seeing this morning from the satellites. Now, moving on to what I wanted to discuss on the scattered and isolated showers. Now, there is a small difference. If the forecast is saying there is going to be isolated showers, now that is what we mean by having a 10 to 20% chance of having rainfall in that area. So I'll give you an example. If the forecast is saying we are forecasting isolated showers in Kampala, it actually means that 20 or less of the area within the forecast, within Kampala, will be receiving that rain. Now, that is just like a quarter of the forecast area, like a quarter of Kampala. Also, it could mean that this quarter will receive actually much heavier showers. Even if it's just a small place that is supposed to be receiving those rains, it might still be heavy and also be actually associated with damaging winds. But that is what we mean by isolated showers, or it can also be isolated rain. Now also, this is what we're looking at when, so for the scattered showers, it would be kind of what you're seeing on the screen down to the Lake Victoria region. So that would be like scattered. But on top, you see those are isolated showers across the northern half of Uganda. That is the northern area. You can see they're just patches in different places of the country. The next image that describes mostly widespread showers. You see the Karamoja region there. There is a continuation of those dark clouds now. Those could be rainy places, but now the fact that they are spread across that whole region, the Karamoja region, those are what we call widespread showers. Now those will be actually a percentage of 60. At this point, I would suggest do not leave that umbrella home. Please carry that warm jacket. Now what you're seeing right now is just basically scattered showers. Now over to the Lake Victoria Basin, you can see there is a little bit of scattered but also widespread within the island of Lake Victoria. The western side of Lake Victoria, those are widespread rains over there. From the colors, you see the red, yellow to the green, just like one area being widespread. Now that is usually for a 30 to 50% chance. Also from this image, you can see still those widespread showers across the Karamoja region. You see where there is much red and yellow, orange. Those are widespread rains. Some of the pictures that were taken sometime back across Uganda. Now we're going to look at the current situation right now. We can see right over here, there is mostly the cloud that is spreading from the Lake Victoria towards the western side of Lake Victoria Basin. Now these are areas of Masaka, we have Kalisizo, we have Rengo, Lyantonde. Now this is where we have too much rains and also the cloudy conditions. But otherwise the rest of the country is mostly having cloudy conditions and sunny intervals. Gulu, I can see right now it's still really clear skies. Just mostly sunny, clouds coming in, but we might be expecting a similar situation the rest of the morning, except for a few areas. We see that cloud also developing from the Karamoja region, extending all the way up to parts of central north, and that might also be bringing us rains over there. We do have parts of Soroti as well that are right now cloudy, but that might also be developing into some isolated rains as we're going to be looking at in our forecast. Looking at our forecast this morning, from even what we are having, we do have rains across parts of Masaka already. But for central parts of Lake Victoria Basin, Kampala, Entebbe, we do have the isolated rain. Now, this is the situation I was talking about. It could mean just 10 to 20% of the area will be receiving those isolated rains, but otherwise the rest of the country will remain with mostly sunny intervals. Now, at the temperatures expected for morning will be up to 24 over there. We also have central north, Gulu, Ajuma and Kitgum. We're expecting those scattered showers in the morning. Right now it's clear. We have clouds developing, but that might be bringing us rains. Also a 10 to 20% chance. And temperatures will be going up to 26 degrees. Now looking at some of the other areas, we do have the eastern part of central, Luwero, Wobulenzi, we do have Nakaseke as well, expected to have those scattered showers coming in at temperatures will be going up to 25 degrees with a 10 to 20% chance of showers. Now for the central, eastern parts of the country, we have Soroti, Kumi, Katakwi. We do expect sunny conditions, but those will be mixed up with clouds. Temperatures will be rising up to 26 degrees over that area. We move on to some of the other regions we have. We have the western parts of Lake Victoria Basin. That is where we are seeing some of the rains right now. Parts of Masaka, Kalisizo, Sembabule, still expected to have more of those rains as the morning goes on. Temperatures will be going up to 24 degrees. Now, that's all from the forecast right now, and we will be giving you more updates later in the evening in our newscast. Coming up next, we will be having the agenda. Thank you very much, and good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
What does it mean to be closer together? It's taking the last bus home for a surprise visit. Closer together is strangers finding a connection. It's bringing home something much more than a box. It's the warmth of home, or the beginning of something new. There's magic in sharing the things that we love, because it's those things that bring us close together.
Echa COVID-19 chijja kugwa. If we get vaccinated now, observe social distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly. Together we can defeat this enemy.
Even a person who is not registered for VAT may voluntarily use e-freeze to issue an e-receipt to take advantage of the benefits of e-freeze, including reliable record keeping, quick process of tax claims or refunds, fair tax price assessments, among others.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way, because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body, because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
Experience 100% 4G speeds across Uganda with the Airtel 4G Pocket Wi-Fi available at 123,000 shillings only. It comes with 15 GB free for 1 month. Visit the nearest Airtel shop, device selling shop or Airtel online shop. www.airtel.co.ug/broadband-discover. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field couldn't be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Pick of the day on UBC, brought to you by was brought to you by
No one should stop you from finishing what's yours. That's why MTN gives you data bundles that don't expire. Load MTN Freedom Bundles using My MTN app and enjoy the freedom to finish your data bundles.
MTN.
What does it mean to be closer together? It's taking the last bus home for a surprise visit. Closer together is strangers finding a connection. It's bringing home something much more than a box. It's the warmth of home, or the beginning of something new. There's magic in sharing the things that we love, because it's those things that bring us close together.
No one should stop you from finishing what's yours. That's why MTN gives you data bundles that don't expire. Load MTN Freedom Bundles using My MTN app and enjoy the freedom to finish your data bundles.
MTN. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
A lovely morning to you once again. In case you've just joined, this is Good Morning Agenda. It is the program that starts, actually, this is a segment of part of Good Morning Uganda. So every weekday we are here, make it a date to start your day with us, because there's so much that we always have for you, right from the world of sports, current affairs, entertainment. All we do is spice up your morning with information that is very vital for you as you go through business. So begin your day an informed person, because you made the right choice and decided with us here on UBC TV. Once again, I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Agenda. Well, everybody wakes up with one mission: to go and win bread for their family or themselves. Some do it in Uganda. Others look for greener pastures outside their country. Today, we're going to be looking at that is externalization of labor. Saturday was International Labor Day, and the main celebrations, because we're in the times of COVID, were held at State House. His Excellency made a number of comments regarding the welfare of workers and also externalization of labor. I'm privileged to be having, that is Ashe Chitandwe, who is the CEO in Jazzy Limited, one of the companies in this country that deals with labor externalization, that offers people opportunities to look for greener pastures, to look for employment outside Uganda, more so in the Middle East. Chitandwe, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much, Robert.
How have you been?
We've been great. Thank you for hosting us and always keeping tabs with the labor sector in this country.
Well, it's something I'm so passionate about.
Right.
Let's look at, first to begin with, many sectors were greatly affected by COVID-19. You people in externalization of labor, how did this hit you? Have you come out of it? Is it still a problem?
It is a process, Robert, and yes, it was a very unfortunate incident, rather a period, and it's true, we lost a few of our companies, for example, in our sector. They could not survive that very difficult period. But on the other hand,
it was a blessing in disguise.
Yes, out of the country, more opportunities created, and right now, very big numbers leaving the country to go and work, because many job opportunities were created. And I remember some of the expatriates from different countries left these particular destinations, so that created a vacuum, which we are feeling now. So yes, it's true. We are busy now, and yes, we are on track and we're getting there slowly.
I love that. Many times you ask ourselves what good came out of COVID-19, but from boosting our health systems there with a few. But like Ashi has told you, the people in labor exportation, this was another opportunity. And this is very true. When you pass through around the immigration offices, you see the queues of people yearning to go and work. Let's begin by understanding this better.
Right.
Yesterday, no, on Saturday, while His Excellency was addressing the nation, he said countries that export labor have a problem. He gave an example of South Korea. Half the size of Uganda, bigger population, but you rarely see them in any other country, citing only Ban Ki-moon, who was once the Secretary General of the United Nations. What is the problem that Uganda has?
I think, no, I actually concur with the President. We have a problem, and the problem is simple, unemployment. That is a problem. We have a very young population, remember. When you look at the statistics, between 15 and 35, that's where the biggest number of Ugandans are. And remember, most of them, once they're done with school, then, I mean, there is no work for them. The jobs we have within the country are not enough to accommodate all of them. So in the end, they have to seek opportunities where they are. And this means that out of the country. So that is where the problem is. It's as simple as that. No other problem. That is the problem. Yeah.
Well, I was trying to look at statistics from the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, and actually, as we speak, we have 165,000 workers, that is Ugandans, in the Middle East. And guess what they bring home? Every year, they bring $1.4 billion every year. That is the money they send home. People working in the Middle East, these are Ugandans. Actually, this is a big number, first and foremost. Though the monies are there, let's first understand what forms of labor do we export as a country, most so under these companies. Because predominantly people only look at domestic workers.
Thank you, Robert, for that very good question. Truth of the matter is that we have what we call skilled labor, semi-skilled labor, and then unskilled labor. Skilled labor, here you're talking about engineers, you're talking about nurses, you're talking about teachers, electricians, plumbers, carpenters. Those are skilled. Then semi-skilled, you have waiters, waitresses, stuff like that. Then you also have the unskilled, and those are where the domestic workers fall. So what we're doing with the unskilled is to train them, package them better for the market out there, because you see we are living in a competitive world, and in this particular sector we are still new, relatively new. When you look at a country like the Philippines, for example, they've been doing this for over 50 years, and Uganda, we only started externalization of labor in 2007, that is security, and domestic workers about 20.
That's what you can call actually formal.
Yes.
Because people are leaving this country. You have a number of doctors in other countries. You have a number of nurses in other countries that are Ugandans.
Yes.
But formalizing it in terms of documentation, that wasn't,
So that shows you that it's not only the domestic workers, Robert, as people think. No, we have other categories. For example, if I may go back to skilled labor, I have ex-soldiers who are retired from the army that have deployed in Iraq, at the U.S. Embassy in Iraq. And these guys are making very good money, Robert. People are taking home 4 million shillings. That is take home. No taxes, nothing. So you imagine a contract of 2 years, how much money are they making? So it's true that, yes, we're making good money, like you've heard the statistics, $1.2 billion. That is a lot of money into our economy. Or sorry, $1.4 billion. That's a lot of money into our economy. So you can imagine, if I may go back to what the president said, it's true. If you have people who can go abroad and bring back this money back here, for me, I think that is part of the solution that we have in the short term, as the government works out long-term measures. Yes.
Actually, let's also understand this. Yes, we're getting a lot of money from these people, and this is an opportunity being created. But to think loud, then there's also another challenge that many countries now are facing. We're exporting nurses. We've exported doctors. We are exporting soldiers,
Right.
that maybe some would come. But as we export these people, let me just give an example that any person would understand.
Right.
We had domestic workers in Uganda.
Right.
And people would pay them 20, 50, 30, 100.
Right.
As we speak today, domestic workers, housemates to be more specific,
Right.
are rare in this country. Because any who would think to come to Kampala or anywhere, now they're going into companies
Right.
that are taking them, where a maid would earn between 800 and 1 million per month.
Right.
At home, no one can offer this money.
Right.
So much as there is this exportation, there is a time bomb that is going to face this nation.
Right.
We have over 100 nurses leave our country every day to go for greener pastures. What remains of our health or health system? We have doctors.
Right.
Recently, I went to some person I was looking for a neurosurgeon.
Right.
And they were telling me, yes, there are many Ugandans, but they are abroad. Here you have less than 10 in a country.
Right, right. Okay, Robert, that is, those are very, very good observations. And it's true, I will have to strike a balance. That's the truth. And if someone is going for greener pastures, to bring back something at home, that is a good thing. But also, I'm sure that the Ministry of Labour here has a clear policy on medical workers especially. Those sectors where we really need these professionals, I know that there is a policy, which policy I think they will be able to interpret to you at some point. But it's not that the government is just looking on as we are losing these professionals. No, there is a clear policy. And if you remember, there was a deal in Trinidad and Tobago a few years ago, you remember, where they wanted health workers, nurses, doctors, and the government stopped it. Remember that. So yes, there is an intentional policy on regulating that. So that is one. But then when you go back on the domestic workers, Robert, I think you're supposed to be happy that our people now who've been home earning 100,000 shillings as domestic workers can go out of the country and earn 1 million shillings and earn 900,000 and earn 1.2 million shillings, which comes back home in the end. So that means that money is able to help them transform their lives. So for me, I don't think...
Do you know what that drainage did to the United States of America and, to be more specific, in the United Kingdom?
Right.
Many families in the United Kingdom, you find a couple, they're both professionals, but one has to stop working to look after the children. Because the cost of getting a maid, you pay with both an arm and a leg.
Right.
If we get there, as Uganda, are we safe?
Robert, the truth of the matter is that we still have a long way. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't see ourselves getting there. But what I can tell is that if you look at the welfare of our people, honestly, Ugandan who has been earning 100,000 shillings, if she has gotten an opportunity of earning 1 million shillings, she's paying school fees, she's looking after her parents, she's building a house. You know, if you look at the trickle down effect of all this, you realize that it's a good thing. It's a good thing because in the end, even government is able to tax some of these businesses they've been able to set up. Because I receive very many returnees, and I normally have feedback sessions with them, and they tell you, I've been able to build, I've been able to open a business here and there, and stuff like that. So I think if you look at both, you realize that transforming our lives of Ugandans, for me, that would be the most important thing. Rather than looking at, yes, in the long term, probably, but I don't think we shall get there because the government is already saying they're coming up with long-term measures of making sure that Uganda becomes like South Korea. Yes.
Well, away from the good that we've talked about, how much we bring in the welfare, now let's look at the bitter side of externalization of labor in Uganda. More so coming home to domestic workers. Actually, on a scale of a month, I think we do not see less than about maybe 1,000 girls leave this country. Through these various companies to go and make a living. But there have been challenges of nasty stories that come, most of those that are in the Middle East. Let's first look at how we've protected these workers. You are going to get money, but many of them, some have lost lives. Some have got permanent injuries, temporary injuries. Some have returned home psychologically disorganized, stressed, in depression, and all this.
Right. Robert, thank you very much for that wonderful question. One, first of all, when it comes to death, you can die anywhere, Robert.
That is what we call preventable death.
Yes, and I'm coming to that.
Death.
And I'm coming to that, Robert. Secondly, if there've been negligence, then that is not right. Thirdly, when you look at the cases that we've been getting, most of the cases have been coming from trafficked girls. Now, what does that mean? Let's focus on the companies that externalize these Ugandans legally. Yes, I'm not denying that there are no deaths. That can happen, and that happens, here and there. But the whole point is that what is the cause? Is it because of mistreatment? Thirdly, where are we allowed to externalize Ugandans as domestic workers? Right now, we are allowed to externalize Ugandans as domestic workers to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. But you hear stories coming from Oman, for example. We're not allowed to externalize Ugandans to Oman. So if you see someone complaining, or an incident that happened.
What happened to Jordan? I remember about 5 years back, the Ministry of Labour and Social Development signed an agreement with Saudi Arabia and the Kingdom of Jordan.
Right. Yes. There were some technical issues the two governments or the two ministries are trying to sort out. So it was halted.
Jordan for now.
Yeah, Jordan was halted for now until they've fixed those technical issues, which are very well known to both governments. But getting back to this point, secondly, as Ugandan companies, for example, we have partners in these countries that we work with, approved and accredited by the two governments.
Let's look at this protection mechanism.
Right. That's where I'm going. Yes. That's where I'm going. So now, for example, I'll take an example of Injazi Limited. I have 5 people sitting in the office of my partner in Saudi. Those are 4 supervisors and a manager. These are Ugandans.
Is this by law, or it's because of or it's just your company? Are these well stipulated?
Well,
that for you to have a company that exports labor, these are the terms and conditions, and they are strictly followed by government of Uganda.
Yes, the regulations are very clear by the government of Uganda. The welfare of Ugandans is in our hands because we are the ones externalizing them. So we are supposed to follow up on them. So these 5 people, my 4 supervisors and a manager there, their role is clear. Follow up on these Ugandans. If there are any issues, we follow them up. If they need consular services, we work with the embassy and resolve their issues. And that is why each domestic worker, for example, is supposed to move, rather to travel with a smartphone. And this and the reason why the government decided that it should be that way is to keep in touch with these people, to look at their,
let's be more specific for the benefit of our viewer this morning, to better understand what are the requirements, first and foremost, for a domestic worker to leave Uganda. Then what are the requirements for a company that is in labor exportation, so that we know if these guarantee safety of our people, of our dear brothers and sisters, most of sisters now as domestic workers.
One, for a Ugandan company, for example, let me take an example of Injazi. Before I partner with any company in Saudi Arabia, that company has to have been vetted by our embassy in Saudi Arabia. That is one. Number 2, the Ministry of Labor here and the Ministry of Labor in Saudi Arabia have a system that they call Mosaned. It's an IT system where both ministries are basically watching what is going on. Secondly, all the approvals, remember these candidates, we have to upload their CVs on this particular system.
So what CV of a domestic worker do you upload?
Wow. One, if, Robert, you're going to work in Saudi Arabia, the very first thing we do, you need to have a pre-medical. We need to know your health status. That is number 1. If your health status permits you to go and work, then you need to go through an interview. After that interview, you've passed and stuff like that, then you go for what we call a pre-departure training. That pre-departure training has been going on now for a very long time, but it's been a 7-day, which right now the ministry wants to extend to 21 days, so that Ugandans, by the time they leave this country, they've fully understood what they are getting into and stuff like that. That pre-departure training, remember, is offered by training centers accredited by the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Okay. So this is just to prepare these Ugandans. So even at that point, if you're not sure, you still can drop out, remember. So as all this is going on, the company is processing your passport, the company is processing your Interpol, and then after all this, you've finished the training, you've gotten yourself a passport, and the Interpol and stuff like that, then we go for what we call an approval from the Ministry of Labour on that system. So an approval is made on the system I've spoken about. And the two governments are right there to approve this, okay? Then that same contract, remember before they give us an approval, we have to sign the contract. The employer, the recruitment company in Saudi Arabia, the head of the Ugandan company, and then this particular candidate. So after we've signed that last page of the contract, remember, in between, we have to sensitize the candidates on the contract obligations. And we normally ask them to come with their parents, for example, in Jersey, or next of kins, and we go through these contracts, both in English and their local languages, to fully understand what they really entail. Then after all this is being done, then that's when the approval I've been speaking about comes in. So after that approval, then we're able to do what we call visa medical. This is medical done by GCC accredited medical centers. GCC's Gulf Council something. After that has been done, then we submit them to the embassy for visas. So you can see that everything is monitored and it's well organized. So we know, remember in the contract, we know where this worker is going to live, who is the boss, how many people are in the house, for example, where are they located, what's the phone number, ta-da-da-da-da. Remember, the company in Saudi Arabia also does its due diligence. They don't just, send Ugandans to whoever. No, they do due diligence. So they have to be vetted.
With
and
that
there are
in
parameters.
place, actually, well explained.
Right.
And I want to commend government for such a mechanism in place to ensure that they protect the lives of Ugandans.
Right.
Then the question remains, with all these in place, where are the loopholes? Where are the gaps that we are seeing these nasty stories that keep on popping up, where even some people are, because government of Uganda, I think, has ever suspended domestic workers, exploitation of domestic workers twice.
Yes.
If we follow up, if you remember very well.
Yes,
they
I
did
remember.
that, I think, in 2010. Then again, they did it.
No, 2006, 17.
Yeah, again in 2017. Yeah. So they've always come to a time and no, we can no longer for the safety of our girls.
Right.
So why is the gap?
No, the truth of the matter is that it's good you've pointed out that, Robert. Even when the government stopped externalization of domestic workers, you remember, very huge numbers were still leaving the country. That means trafficking grew because now it was an opportunity for them. So stopping them does not, basically, is not a solution. What we need is how best can we keep improving the system we have to make sure that the welfare of Ugandans is guaranteed. That is where I think we should be looking. But saying that we stop or whatever, that doesn't help. That is why I was telling you that in the regulations, since it's incumbent upon us to ensure the safety of these Ugandans, we are going an extra mile. And many labor companies are doing that. To have Ugandans in these offices in Saudi Arabia, to monitor. Even us, as for example, as in Jazz, we have our own app where we monitor. If someone has a problem, just send a message there and we follow it up. Secondly, that is very different. For me personally, I've even gone ahead and put my personal contact on the contracts of each and every Ugandan that goes out of the country. In case there is a delay, of a response from my team, I'm able to get this information in real time, and then follow it up with the, with the team to make sure this person is helped. Thirdly, there are challenges, of course, even here in Uganda. I mean, it doesn't mean that whoever is working in UBC is happy. Yes, sometimes they may be having issues with their bosses, but how do we handle these problems? Some people would prefer to get an audio, spread it. Others would prefer to take a video, spread it. So that as well, that mechanism of problem solving is another thing that we have to make sure that we handle properly. So that's where the problem is. But apart from that, truth of the matter is that we're doing our best to ensure. For example, I have over 700 Ugandans I've deployed in different countries. And I make sure that I follow up on these. Yes, you find cases here and there, but you see through those cases and make sure these Ugandans get assisted. Sometimes we have to work with the embassy to make sure that we help them, and we do that. So that's the most important thing. And if we remain committed as a country, then everything will be fine. But when we keep castigating ourselves, because remember, these are Ugandans, and we don't have quick solutions right now. This is the only thing we have right now that can kind of mitigate this particular problem. So in the short term, let's look at this, perfect it, like you heard from the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development on Labour Day, skill these people more so that we have a fine products out there and we'll be able to compete. Thank you, Robert.
Talk about competition, we'll be able to compete, but of course life is always a priority of Ugandans.
Right.
Ashi, there has always been a challenge, and sometimes I was asking the minister that then this is just an scapegoat. Those are trafficked, then how does an ordinary Ugandan, a girl in Kakuto, a girl in any part of this country, remote part of this country, they know there are opportunities. They're watching this show, the parents are watching, enjoying this show, and they know that a domestic worker can earn between 800 and 1.2. So my daughter, why don't you rush to go and maybe move out of this country? So how do they then get to know genuine company away from the traffickers, so that we know that the trafficking issue is sorted? Now, any challenges are rising from fully registered companies.
First of all, Robert, I need to clarify this. It doesn't mean that any young Ugandan lady who is above 18 is allowed to go and work as a domestic worker. No. The age where, is 21 years and above. Because 21 years, as far as the government is concerned, you're mature enough to go and work. But also, why do we get this information? One, you've given a very good example. A girl who is not in Kampala, for example, she's 21 years of age.
Even one in Kampala, excitement, I've heard I can make 800 a month.
Okay. So I'm going to tackle both. One, but let me begin with someone who is far away from Kampala. You can work with your district internal security officers. They have this information. They have lists of these companies that have been allowed to do this work.
Maybe just a minute. I must inform our viewers that you can please be part of this discussion by calling in, and that is the number on your screen, 0702 23 24 25. You can be part of the topic of discussion as we discuss externalization of labor in Uganda. Please feel free to call in. Just give us your name, where you're calling from, and Chitandwe will be able to respond to your question and, of course, your observation. Yes, please go ahead.
So district internal security officers have this information.
Those are the DISOs.
The DISOs, what we call DISOs, yes. Because remember, recruitment is done from everywhere in the country. So they have this information. They have these lists. Then also, you can also talk to the district labor officers. They can also avail this information. Then, if you're in Kampala, our Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development is right behind CPS.
Central Police Station.
Yes, Central Police Station, Kampala. You can just walk in and make an inquiry, and you'll definitely be furnished with this information.
That is Simbamanyo building, just next to CPS.
Right, just behind CPS. Then also, we have an association. It's the Uganda Association of External Recruitment Agencies. It's an umbrella body for all the companies that have been licensed to do this job. We have found that BMK House, Hotel Africana Complex, level 4, in those areas, you can get this information. And once you get this information, then you're able to know who to work with and where to start from. Right.
That is very important for you as you crave for employment. Think about your life, your safety, and the people that really depend on you. It's not all about, I can do anything, I can work anywhere. All I want is money.
Right.
Remember, it is your life. Well, we have a caller online. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for calling in. Who are we speaking to?
You are speaking to Mr. Pedroza Hashirat.
Yes, please, but can you please be a bit more audible, kindly?
So I want to be ask that gentleman.
Yes.
So we are seeing we are hearing more complaints. People abroad. We have many of our sisters and our brothers. They are complaining that they are in bad situation. How can the organization, that gentleman is really perhaps to solve those problems that our brothers and sisters that we are facing outside Uganda? So thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. So much, Katerega, for calling in. If I got you right, he raised a question that we've just been discussing, but of course, I know there's instant communication in radio. You'll be responding to that. Please feel free to call in. We still have a few minutes and we'll be eager to pick your phone call and respond. That is the number on your screen, 0702 23 24 25. 0702 23 24 25. Please call in, give us your name, where you're calling from, and Achichandwe will be able to respond. Hello, good morning, caller. Please kindly turn down the volume of your TV set. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
But kindly reduce the volume of your TV set or slightly move away. Morning to you.
Hello.
Please, can you be a bit more audible? Please speak out. Oh, hello? Okay, sorry, we lost that caller, but please, in case you're to call in and be part of this show, just turn down the volume of your TV set or move away a distance to avoid that echoing sound and you're not able to communicate effectively. We'll be very excited to receive your call so that we can get your participation into this and actually respond to your concerns.
Right.
A lovely morning to you. Hello, caller. Hello. Good morning. Oh, you're so low. Well, let me hold calls at that. I see time is not so much on our side. But actually, just to respond to the caller, let's begin with that.
I didn't catch that question very well. Kindly.
He said they're receiving a lot of stories from their brothers, their sisters that are really suffering, and these went through to get greener pastures outside Uganda, mostly in the Middle East.
Right. Yeah, it's true. There will always be issues here and there, like I've said. But the most important thing is, what is the company doing about it? What is the partnering company in whatever place they are is doing about it? That is the most important thing. You see, it's teamwork. They're supposed to work together and fix what the problem is. That is the most important thing. When you work with a partnering company, even relatives here, work with the company here that basically externalize this person, and then see how best they can team up with the partnering company and find a quick solution to this person. But also, if they're not receiving help, then they can always contact our embassies across,
which is also another challenge, according to some of the stories we hear, that maybe some of these embassies are not well staffed. The situation is not all that very...
No, you see now the embassies work with these companies. Remember they know where these companies are, in whatever country they are. So they contact the companies and follow up on them to see that these Ugandans are assisted. Yeah, I'm talking from experience, because I mean this is what I've done whenever I've had an issue that requires me to use consular services. So for me, that is what I would urge Ugandans to do. And believe me, once it is well handled, everything should be okay. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you. Actually, let me just have a minute to get your final remarks regarding externalization of labor in Uganda.
Right. Thank you, Robert. Externalization of labor in Uganda is here to stay. Before actually we formalized this process, you remember, Robert, we used to have Ugandans going to Dubai, going to Fuji. You remember, in the 80s, 70s, early 90s. So the government realized that we better formalize this. And for me, I think once this is well handled, I don't see a problem with it. Safety, as long as it's safe for our people and it's productive, we have to continue doing it. But also, Ugandans, I urge you to go through licensed companies, because when you go through a licensed company, they have an obligation to make sure that you're safe and you work in very good conditions. And when you have a challenge, work with your company. It will definitely be in position to help you. If you feel you're not assisted by that company, seek the intervention of our association and also the Ministry of Labor or the embassy wherever you are. You'll be helped. And for me, I want to encourage you to make sure that you save. You're making this money, save it, so that when you come back home, your life is transformed. Thank you very much, Robert.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Ache Chitandwe, who is the CEO in Jazz Limited, one of the companies that is in externalization of labor. Shortcuts are expensive. Please go through genuine registered companies or licensed companies. He's mentioned how you can justify or verify that this company is registered. And remember, at the end of the day, you're working, but there comes a time when you can no longer go to these countries to work because of the terms and conditions given. Save, like he said, and let's all create a conducive environment for workers, not only outside Uganda, but even in Uganda. God bless you. Ruben will be taking you through sports updates, and then Jagenda will take you through Good Morning Uganda Extra. Have a lovely day.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we are not going to leave anything on our plates, because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Experience 100% 4G speeds across Uganda with the Airtel 4G Pocket Wi-Fi available at 123,000 shillings only. It comes with 15 GB free for 1 month. Visit the nearest Airtel shop, device selling shop, or Airtel online shop. www.airtel.co.ug/broadband-discover. Airtel, the smartphone network.
What does it mean to be closer together? It's taking the last bus home for a surprise visit. Closer together is strangers finding a connection. It's bringing home something much more than a box. It's the warmth of home, or the beginning of something new. There's magic in sharing the things that we love, because it's those things that bring us close together.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile, because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way, because we are all different, even according to each individual's work.